Hello and welcome back to a new video in my GameEngine series. In the last video we made that our swap chain and our window are now actually presenting and are working, and what we have basically is a black window. A black window that we can actually make it a different color. Where is it? Where's my clear color? I want to show it to you. RG, let's make it blue today. Or maybe let's mix some colors. Mixing colors is always nice. Let's see what I can get. I'm not good with colors, but let's see what color we get if I try to mix it. Yay, we get a nice color. Yeah, that's basically what we have done last video. We've made sure that these all works. Now what I want to do today is I want to today give us a bit of options for debugging. So I want to have a bit of a debug UI that we can use so that we have information for debugging on the UI or on the window, that we can have a few parameters that we can drag around so that we don't need to always like stop and recompile. That's what we want to do today. We want to today integrate debug UI, and we're going to do this by integrating Dear ImGui. Dear ImGui, bloat-free graphic user interface for C++ with minimal dependencies. I think these days everybody should know ImGui. Like ImGui is like in everybody's mouse. Everybody should know it, right? This is ImGui. You can draw these simple UI elements in any kind of window. You could even go something like that, something more elaborate, something more fancy. And if you actually take a look at that, that's what somebody have done with ImGui. So it's a game engine. Somebody has already written a game engine with ImGui. But yeah, we do it again. So here you can see this is what you can do with ImGui. It really looks good. I really like that idea of a profiler in ImGui. That also looks really nice. What we are going for is something that will more be something like that. We probably might not have our game running into an ImGui window. Maybe we're going to have our game running in an ImGui window, but that's in the end more or less what we will build. An engine that will look something like that, more or less. But yeah, that's basically what I want to do. So let's get started and directly go in and make ImGui available in our project. Okay, so how do we get ImGui? We could either take the one that has a commit 25 minutes ago. Yeah, cool. I'm not sure if master is something that we want to do. I think we want to do a release. You can see that there's a release 3 weeks ago. If you go to a release, you're going to find some artifacts, maybe. And what we are looking for is the source code as a zip. And we are just going to download the zip here. We'll just wait a second. And here we have it. Here is our source of ImGui. Now, if we open this up, ooh, that looks interesting. I don't know what Windows Explorer is trying to do here. I think it will crash. It will probably crash. It will crash. It will crash. I don't know. Yeah, while this one is like shitting around in the background, let's actually go in and change a bit how this works. Now, first of all, I want to a bit reproduce the structure that ImGui uses. I'm not sure how they actually do it. I think we can adjust the includes anyways later. But I think in imgui.cpp, how are they referencing ImGui? Are they just including? Ah, there it is. Now it has come to life. What I'm looking for is how they include ImGui before I make myself oh, come on. Before I make myself too much of an effort. How do they it cannot be. What the hell is that? How can it be that there's 1,000 lines of the CPP code? Okay, so they are basically including ImGui plainly. Oh, that's a fair point. We can do that. We can make sure that this works. But in general, what I want to do is I want to create a project for each dependency that we have. Since we are doing manual project management with Visual Studio, this is more or less what we need to do. Now, we're going to have a bit of a pain doing that, but yeah, we need a lot of manual adjustments now. As soon as we have one here started, we could actually make ourselves a template. Actually, we could already make the engine a template, but I don't want to do that. Let's make a new project here. Let's make an empty project, and let's go and... actually, I think, could we copy a project? No, we cannot copy a full project, sadly. Cut, remove, rename, no. We cannot copy a whole project, that's it. But what we can do is we can add a new empty project, and I'm just going to call the project ImGui. But I'm not going to make it in that folder, because actually what you can have here, you can see that we have a source folder. And I want to make another folder and call this one vendor. So this is going to be the external code that we use. And inside of this vendor folder, we're going to then have a folder ImGui. And inside of that project, we're going to have all the ImGui related code. And now what we need to do is we sadly need to adjust a lot of things. And oh, I forgot my desktop scaling. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Now you should be able to see it a bit more clear. Now I think actually I need to reopen these Let's restart Visual Studio quickly. Okay, so after I restarted Visual Studio, the scaling is now finally applied. Now, the first thing that I want to go is I want to go into the configurations manager, because you're going to notice that we have a few problems. First of all, the ever x68 is back. We need to delete it again. Then you will see that for develop, we do not have any profile for ImGui. For release, we have it. Now, what I want to do here basically is I want to go to develop, and I want to quickly go in and create a new one, copy from release, and quickly call this one develop. Make sure to uncheck this one. Okay, so now you can see that we have develop, we have release, and we have debug. We're just going to make sure that we remove Win32 here as well. And now we have at least the configurations figured out. Then we can go to engine core, and basically what we want to do at all configurations, we just want to apply everything that we have done to engine core as well. We want to apply this in here. Okay, application exe, this is wrong, so let's put this one to static library as well. ImGui will be another static library. Okay, this should be all good. I'm not sure what we also changed. I think we changed that, so let's also go in here, and for the include directories, adjust it here. Okay, I'm not sure if we changed anything here. Do we change, I think, something from the preprocessor? That's something that we also want to do, but we don't have any CPP files for now. So let's add first the CPP file. I really hate that we need to do that, by the way. Let's make a dummy.cpp. And let's go now to the preprocessor. Now we can apply this one. And I think we do not have any more changes. This is why you want to have a proper build system. Visual Studio does by default, or at least on how we are using it currently, not provide a proper build system. There are these property sheets that you can create, but again, I think we at some point will move to a proper build system, because even if we have our dependencies like manually copied in our project, I still want to have it a bit easy to use. Now the next thing that I want to do is at the empty game, I want to add a reference to ImGui, so that we are linking against that. And then what I want to do is I want to open the ImGui folder. I want to open that in the Windows Explorer, and I cannot find this. No, open in File Explorer. So now we are here, and then I want to go to the ImGui sources. No, that's not the ImGui sources. ImGui zip. There it is. I hate it. The Explorer does not really like my DPI scaling, and is like completely messed up. Okay, so let's dock this over. Yeah, there was a thing. I think this feature is still not working in Windows. I don't know why, but it is. But we can get this working like this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to grab a few ImGui files. So what I want to have is ImGui CPP. Let's maybe also grab imconfig. I'm not sure if we need imconfig, ImGui, that one, demo, draw, internal, table, widgets. I don't know. Why is there so much STB in there? STB should not be here. I'm not sure. Do we need STB? I don't know. Let's try it without STB first. Let's just copy these all over. Let's delete the dummy.cpp. Let's go in here. Let's reload that. Let's select these. Let's say include in project, and let's completely remove it here. And now you can see that we have ImGui inside. So you can see ImGui demo is in here. ImGui draw is in here. Widgets table and ImGui.cpp. So now everything should be working. If I build that, let's see if it can build. It probably cannot build because, okay, it's actually requiring imstb text edit. That's interesting. So it seems that it actually needs these STP. Actually, they are prefixed with ImGui, so probably they are not even polluting and destroying what's in existence. Okay, so let's include these ones as well. Let's quickly build and see if ImGui will build. And you can see ImGui actually builded fine. However, for ImGui, you need some auxiliary stuff. We currently do only have ImGui core inside. I want to create a folder and call this one, let's call it also backends, because we need backends for ImGui. Instead of these backends, what we're going to grab is DX12. And we need Windows at some point, Win32. So Win32 and DirectX, this is what we need. And then we're going to paste them in. reload them here, and then I'm going to add these as well. Let's see if this builds without any issues. No, because ImGui can now no longer be open because our include passes are wrong. So what we need to do is we need to additionally to our source also include the vendor. But actually what you're going to be seeing is that vendor enough is not, that vendor alone is not enough. We actually need to go into the subdirectory ImGui for at least ImGui to work. We need to make sure that we set this up properly for everything, sadly. This is why you would have a build system that does it. Again, this is not nice if you need to do it everywhere, but for now, I'm just going to do it. And if I now compile ImGui, this should compile without any issues, and ImGui has been produced a library. And now we officially have ImGui inside of our project. Now we just need to use it. I'm a bit of an ImGui noob actually. I've not used it for quite a while, but I think the documentation on how to use Windows should be easy. Message handler for your applications. This is something that we need, this line. I know that. We need that one, and we need that in our Windows stuff, because Windows basically needs to know that ImGui is a thing. So inside of Windows window, what we actually need to do is we need to just paste this in here. And then what we should do is also we should include imgui.h so that we have ImGui included, okay? So now you can see ImGui, and then there's the ImGui impl window proc handler, so we now know that this handler is in existence. And what I also want to do is I want to have maybe a bit of a callback to implement or to indicate that ImGui is used. Oh no, I think we can always use ImGui, so I think we should be fine by just basically calling the handler every time. There should be also some documentation how this works. Message handler intentionally comment out an if block to avoid blah. You should copy the line below in your CPP to forward declare blah. Call from your application's message handler. Keep calling your message handler on this. Keep calling your message handler unless this function returns true. So if it returns true, it basically means that that the messages are handled exclusively. So if this one is called, it means exclusively handled by ImGui. So that's something that we need to implement in our window proc. So basically what I want to do is if ImGui handler, if this one returns true, return true. This is what I want to do. I'm not sure if this is actually nice, if we should do that, but I think it should be done like that, because we do not have any insights on what it really does. Okay, so basically this is our events, and this is going to be feed ImGui. So we are normally feeding ImGui, and otherwise we are handling our events, and then we have the fallback default handler. So we now have a 3-stage implementation of our window proc, but that is fine. Actually, we could even feed this not in the object-oriented approach, but it's better to have it in here. Okay, so I think for the Win API, that's actually everything we need to integrate. DPI related helpers, enable DPI aware, I think, but this should be fine. Do this via manifest or explicit call. This is mostly useful for our example. In theory, we could all, I think in the end it should already handle DPI awareness, ImGui itself. I'm not sure. The only thing I think we need to call is, we need to call this function, ImGui impl win32 init, for the window. That's the only thing that we need to call, I think. So let's add this as well. So in Windows window.cpp, as soon as the window has been created, we are going to have an ImGui init. This function should not be something, it's not known yet. ImGui backends win32. Actually, it should be more like this, so it's a bit more explicit. And now what we can do is we can put in the window handler. Okay, I think this is everything that we need at least for ImGui now. I think for Win32 that's it. We have the shutdown, of course. Yeah, maybe let's also call the shutdown from our window. It's a bit odd to call this from the window, but since it's related to the window, it's actually for me good to call it there, because this is kind of like making sure that like all the explicit things are run here. The same with the new frame. Let's also make this let's make this in here as well. Huh? Where's the new frame? Why does it so, why is it so a bit odd? New frame. I'm not sure if it should be actually called. I think we should call it before the message, because then we have a new frame and then the frame related message. In the end it will probably not matter, but yeah. Feed messages. I'm not actually sure if maybe we need to actually, because new frame, the functions are also here for DirectX 12. I'm not sure if these calls really need to be done to ImGui at Win32. Yeah, let's just keep them in here. Oops. Go to, let's see what it does. What does new frame do? I think there's no draw function, so I think it's actually good. It's just doing client rect query performance counter. Yeah, this is totally fine. We can call this and we need to call this. Now the next thing that we need to call is the DirectX 12 stuff. That is something that we need to take into account. So as you can see, we need to call this ImGui init function. We're going to call this one in the DirectX 12 graphics. So after all of our initialization has been done, we need to init ImGui for the DirectX 12 point of view. So what we should do is include ImGui here. So backends dx12 and also ImGui.h itself. And then we should call this function. Now, first thing that we need is the device. So we put in that's easy. Number of frames in flight, buffer count, that's easy. Then we have the RTV format, DXGI format, R8, that one that we already used previously. Then we need a heap, a CBV SRV heap, and a SRV CPU descriptor handle, and I think an SRV GPU descriptor handle. So we need actually some more involved stuff. So basically, yeah, GPU and CPU. And now we need to check how this works. Comment list, okay, so comment list is the comment list that the implementation will use to the render ImGui draw list. That's okay. Before calling the render function, caller must prepare the comment list by resetting it and setting the appropriate render target and descriptor heaps that contain font SRV CPU descriptor handles. So the heaps need to be set. Handles to a single SRV descriptor that is used for the internal font descriptor. So what I actually need is we need a descriptor heap for the internal font texture. So there's one texture that's used that needs to be feathered in there. Okay, that's not a big deal. We can do that. We can provide that. It's just a single one that we need. We also have the shutdown. Let's maybe implement the shutdown first so that we at least have that, and don't forget that. I'd like to do it like this. Release buffers, ImGui shutdown here. Okay, that seems good. And now let's just make sure that we have everything that we need for ImGui. So what we need is we need a we need to create a descriptor heap. So we need a descriptor and then the actual heap. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a it's interesting whether we put that. Let's just put it at the bottom. Com pointer id3d12 the descriptor heap ImGui desk heap. So ImGui descriptor heap, that's the one that we want to do. IID ppv args. So we're going to create one for ImGui d3d12 descriptor heap desk ImGui desk heap desk. That's something that is again Not of too good naming conventions, but that's okay. And now we just need to describe it. So we need to define the type, which is CBV, SRV, UAV. Then we need to define the number of descriptors. It only needs one. Flags is shader visible. We need them. So ImGui internally needs it for the shader. I know that. That's why I can directly type this in here. Net mask is 0. Okay, so this describes it, and then we have it. So we can feed that one through. No. This one through. And we should also release that after we released ImGui. And then what it needs the actual handle. I think it could also handle if you put it into a dedicated one. It does. This is currently a dedicated one for ImGui if you put it in a non-dedicated one. This is something that should be definitely a thing and should not provide any negative side effects. So now we need the CPU and the GPU handle. It's actually quite simple. Get CPU descriptor handle for heap start, because we are only using that here, and get GPU handle. Oops. Get GPU handle for heap start. This is just as simple as that, because we are basically using a dedicated one. If you use a non-dedicated one, then it would be a bit more involving, then you would need to make sure that the right ones are actually fed. Okay, so this is the DirectX 12 init call. This should be everything that we need. Now the only thing that we now need to take care of is the new frame and the render draw data. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to do a new frame. That's the first thing. We got to do this. It's quite simple. We have the begin frame function, swap chain resizing, active buffers, and all of that. And before we doing all of that, I'm actually going to do a ImGui reset, so that the implementation actually knows that ImGui needs to be resetted. And then we have the end frame. At the end frame, I'm doing resource barriers, and I'm executing the comment lists. So state of the back buffer, and what I want to do is, before I am transitioning the back buffer, of course, in the state where I can no longer access it, I want to do the ImGui draw. Up to that point, all application codes draw shall be finished, and then they're going to be the ImGui draw that's going to happen. We might change this later, so that it's executed at a different stage maybe. This could be something that we might factor out later into a dedicated ImGui debug UI class, but for now I just want to get it up running, and we're not going to have a layer stack manager yet. So in the end, as soon as we might going to separate out our renderer and our layer stacks, so then it's the point where we would also factor out the ImGui stuff in a dedicated layer that handles all of these DirectX 12 interactions. Okay, so what do we do for ImGui to draw? Let's open up the DirectX 12 header again. What we basically want to do is we will want to do that. So that's what we want to do. Render draw data. So there's the im draw data. What is that? How do I get this? Okay, that's interesting. im draw data. I'm not sure how I can get these, but I think we can try. ImGui im draw get draw data. There it is. Just as simple as that. So get draw data, and then we need a graphics comment list. I'm just going to take my comment list here. The only thing that's now missing, we can see we are getting the comment list. The only thing that's missing is a bit of state management, because it's stated that for DirectX, where is it? Before calling the render function, caller must prepare comment list by resetting it and setting the appropriate render target and descriptor heap that contains. So basically what we need to do is we need to set a descriptor heap, and we can do this quite simply. Comment list set descriptor heaps. So we want to set descriptor heaps. I just want to set one descriptor heap, and the ImGui descriptor heap is what I want to set. So I just set the ImGui descriptor heap, and I hope this does not blow up. Let's see if this compiles and what do we got. If we get any errors or anything, we get errors. Okay. So let's see what we made wrong. Abort has been called debug error. Okay. But I'm on debug. Huh? Who called abort? Let's go into debug. I'm assert no current context. ImGui create context. Get IO. Interesting. ImGui create context. This is something that we need to really call. Okay. Seems like it. We need to call this actually. When did this actually been executed? It's probably in the window, right? Probably because there's no general ImGui init done. Okay, so let's now just say the window is responsible for initializing ImGui. Maybe we should have this at a central space. Is there an ImGui init? Can you just do it as simply like that? Exception shown access violation. So actually now we're getting quite more further, but it's not drawing. Okay, so let me just maybe quickly, since I haven't used ImGui in quite a while, we're just going to peek what we have already done. Let's see. How did I integrated ImGui here? I think I integrated ImGui here, right? DX, Windows, string converter. Boy, this was super trash. Alter, I really, if I see that code, that makes me a bit cringe. But there's no ImGui? Huh. Where did I put ImGui in? I probably put ImGui into some repo of mine. That's private. That's not something you should be too interested in. Where is it in there? Don't think it's in there. Okay, so let's see. DirectX 12, Conan, CCPP tutorial, Advent calendar. Yeah, some old game engine stuff that I have done. Is there needs to be some kind of ImGui. Real-time rendering old. This does look like something that should have ImGui in it, right? No. Real-time rendering. There it is, ImGui, but there should be, that's it. The implementations, ImGui manager. Okay, so what does the ImGui manager do when it initializes? ImGui create context. ImGui style color stack. Okay, this is what we need to initialize it. It's actually like that. We actually need to create a context on ourselves. Okay, so then we have the Win32 in it and then the DirectX 12 in it, which, yeah, seems good. We have done it like that. Implementation shutdown and destroy context. That seems legit. Is it like that, how you start the frame? Was there anything in that order that really was important? Yeah, maybe if I think for now, if we go into the Windows window, what did I copy from here? Oh, come on. Close that. Styles color dark. I hate the new. This is something where I really hate what GitHub has done. Not too big of a fan of that. Destroy context. Yeah, let's put it like this. But this does not really solve our issue. ImGui. We are not calling ImGui new frame, I think. We are just calling the... How are we calling here? The last one is ImGui. I actually think it should be ImGui and then the backends. Let's try. If we call that, if we had any issues. Okay, what's now the problem? Okay, what did I now copy and paste? The Pragma ones. How the hell did I cut at that? Okay, let's try. Invalid display size. That's interesting. Why is it not getting this? It has a window update running? Maybe was that the reason? No. Why do you not get? Let's say G, IO. No, it's not the display size. It's the fonts. Why is the fonts null? It's owned by the contacts, but it's not been built. That's interesting. A font should be built, right? I mean... why the hell? Why the hell does it not work? Why the hell? Sanity checks in your frame. That's interesting. That's really interesting why this is failing with ImGui. So why is it always a pain? Is it really because the DirectX implementation needs to be called first? Is that really the case that we need to call a new frame on DirectX? Okay, if this is the case, then let's actually make ImGui in one space. Okay, so let's make a folder called debug, and let's add there an win. Well, let's actually, this is DirectX 12. So let's go into DirectX 12 and call this one D3D12 ImGui. ImGui, just like this. D3D12 ImGui. Okay, we're just going to make it now simple. Okay, namespace, engine, class, D3D12 ImGui. I think this is why this is done in that way around, because then the new frame is actually going to update the DirectX 12 things. I had this in an order. I was thinking why, but I have this in an order for a certain reason. Okay, so D3D12 ImGui. Now this should be definitely an interface. So let's close this out and let's go in the engine core and let's define a ImGui. ImGui.h. Namespace engine, class ImGui. This looks odd, but it is. Okay, so what does ImGui do? It defines... it's an interface. I'm just going ahead of myself. Default destructor, make it virtual. Okay, there we go. So virtual default destructor. Then there's going to be a virtual void init. Virtual void shutdown. And virtual void new frame. Okay, let's make them all 0. And this is basically our ImGui interface. Initializes ImGui. This one is creating a new ImGui frame. Okay, and then we're going to have shutdown, which is going to be closing ImGui. Okay, so that's basically what our interface is. Then we're going to D3D12 ImGui, we're going to hashtag include engine core ImGui.h, and this is a public ImGui. Okay. So now inside of here, I don't think that we have any privates here that we need, because we just need to call the functions in the right order. Well, actually, we do going to have privates because it's a DirectX one. So we're actually going to have our Let's put this over. Let's go to the graphics and let's actually steal the win include. No, I didn't want to do that. This one here. And there is the ImGui descriptor heap, and this one is now going to be placed, of course, in the ImGui side because it's allocated for ImGui. Okay, so let's implement the... Huh? Oh, come on. Visual Assist, please. Why am I not allowed to implement the interface? I really hate that it's so unreliable. This is a product where you pay money for. And it doesn't work. Let's remove these. Actually. Alright, like that. Okay, so now we have our interface. D3, D12 ImGui. We have a constructor and we're going to have a... Actually, let's not work with a constructor. Let's just work with init, new frame, and shutdown. We have them to explicitly call them in a certain order anyways. I do not want to just... Well, do we just want to create them in order? Not sure. We could just make these... a constructor and destructor. Let's maybe do that. Let's get rid of these ones and let's just make sure that it's created at the right spot in our application. Just make the interface like that. And let's just make a public constructor and destructor. We kind of like have this pattern emerging in our application now. I cannot even create a file. What's wrong with you? D312 imgui.cpp. Let's hashtag include imgui here. Okay. Okay, so now what do we need? We need to have a reference to our window and to our DirectX 12 context. Now, first of all, our DirectX 12 context is now going to officially expose the device. So it should be here. Com pointer ID 3D12 device. It's const. Well, let's maybe actually make this a const auto reference get device. Device. Actually think that the com pointer is not const correct, so let's just auto convert this and return the mGPU device. So that's just going to automatically determine the type, so retrieves the GPU device pointer. The 3D12 device pointer. So if we ever change to make a more modern device, it will automatically adapt, which is exactly what we should have in this case. Okay. So now inside of this, what I actually want to have is the context. Engine core, how was the thing called? Engine context.h, that's what we need. And the engine context is going to retrieve us something. So engine get, we get, and then we take a look at the window and we get the window. And then what I'm basically going to do is an auto pointer window equals dynamic cast to the windows. Window pointer of that, but we don't have these in here. Windows, window, and then what we need is D3D12, D3D12 graphics.h, and basically what we do need to do that is GFX, so let's call this WND, GFX, D3D12 graphics pointer for the graphics, and then we should have exposed them. So what we can now do is we can move from the graphics.cpp the ImGui init stuff should be here, and also like let's grab the whole section here. Let's paste it in here, so the device is not going to be here, but GFX get device should now be a thing. And then we can do D3D12 graphics.buffer count to access this one. Everything else should be good now. So this is now basically our D3D12 in it here. So D3D12 shutdown is also a thing that we need. So that's basically this code that we need. Okay, so we paste this in here. And how did I do it here? So first initialization, create context and the style. This is basically what was called here. So let's call this one ImGui core. So let's have an ImGui core initialization that basically is done here. Okay. So I think this is currently at the Windows window, right? And then there's the implementation for the window initialized. Okay. So let's get rid of that here, because that's the same. So then we have Win32. Okay, but the window is of course not in existence. Get window handle. There we go. Now Win32 is initialized. DirectX 12 is initialized. So now we can go back to our Windows window and we can steal the code from here. And we go to ImGui. How did I do it here? Shutdown. It's first DirectX, then Win, then context. Win32. And then ImGui core. Okay, so now we have that sorted out. Now let's go to the new frame function. Let's implement that. And in the new frame function, we can now just steal the code here. Okay. That looks good. Implements ImGui for D3D12. Okay, so now we have ImGui for D3D12 in here. Need some docs here. Ah, come on. ImGui interface. ImGui interface is quite simple. We just need to call in for the new frame. Okay, so that's everything that we more or less need. The only thing that's missing is the draw. I forgot about the draw. Actually, let's go in and make a draw callback here. Override, okay. Let's add this one in the interface. I do not want to. New frame, virtual void draw. Draws the ImGui frame. Okay, so now we have a new frame, so initialization and draw in here. Now the draw will be a bit more involving. We don't need this here now. That is something that we need. I think, do we have any more ImGui code in there? Should not. Should only be this one. Now the ImGui draw, it's a bit more involving actually, because we also need to expose the command list, but that's something that we need to do anyways. Auto get command lists, so return command list, because these are going to, we need them at some point anyways. Retrieves the active command list. So basically we are using DirectX 12 now in the D3D11 style in this application. Not with proper async ones. List pointer GFX. Okay, so now we should have everything exposed, and inside of ImGui, I think draw does not have a body yet. I'm going into here, and then we do need this one, but I think I do just wanna let's keep them in here. Windows window in D3D12 graphics, and just make a window window GFX. And then instead of, let's do it like here. let's steal this to there and this to there. And then we just add the prefix everywhere. And we should be good. And then we can also do like mgfx get command list everywhere, and then we are done. Then the drawing is handled. Now the drawing callback, this one shall be done automatically. So actually now you're going to see how these two things and all the interface magic comes into play. No, you cannot see how it comes into play. We first need it in here. ImGui.h, okay. The unique pointer ImGui. We call this one, let's just call it ImGui as well. So ImGui are going to happen actually after in the OS init we need to do it, Windows Engine graphics, okay. So get dot ImGui std make unique. Actually, like, we can see how I get the Windows window here. The dynamic cast. We could have also done that in a bit more intermediate style. Would have been nicer, I think. Do it in the same style how we have done it here, but let's just keep it. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, we just need to include GUI.h. GUI, okay. Now we should have that, and now in the graphics, where we were doing the draw, so basically here, draw ImGui. Basically what I want to have is I want to have, I think did I not start the window? There's the window. Let's go in here. ImGui.h, and let's have the ImGui instance here, and let's get this one. I think we do not have any reference to the engine context.h. Engine context.h, okay. Okay, so now let's go down and make sure to adjust this. No, it's okay. So let's go here. Here is where I wanted to go. Okay, so the Windows window is in here, and actually I think I do not want to do it like that. I think I want to do the Windows window quickly in the same way that we were doing it here and remove it as a parameter. So let's do the dynamic cast here to the Windows window like this, and let's do the same for the ImGui D3, D12. No, actually for the ImGui I do not need to dynamically cast these because I don't care. I just want to have the interface. So ImGui is that. And then what we can do is we can basically just get rid of the parameter. And this is making things a bit easier on here. So this is no longer needed. This is not dynamically done. This is the whole point of this context, so that we have a dynamic store where we get all of our data from. And I think I want to do one more thing. Actually, what I want to make these is a reference. This seems a bit more appropriate to what it actually is. So now we can do a nice dot to get it. It's just a nuance, but this makes it a bit more consistent throughout. Okay, so now ImGui is in here, and in graphics, now what we need to do is we need to issue the drawing. Where's my end frame? ImGui drawing. So basically, I'm just calling the draw method on my ImGui handle. Okay, so let's see if this one fixes all of our problems. It does not. Let's see. Where are we at now? So fonts are still not built. This is odd. No, yeah, because of course, yeah, sure. We are now still calling the new frame here in the Windows window, which we should not. And what we did not do is we of course need to now also issue a new frame. Or maybe if we can update the window. Can we, if we update the window also directly issue it? We can at least do it at the begin frame of the graphics. Maybe let's go into the graphics and make an ImGui new frame in here. So let's call new frame maybe here. And it has a problem. This ImGui was null pointer. Why is ImGui null pointer? I mean, sure, I get it. ImGui is not living yet. That is something that we of course don't want to have that issue. Problem is that ImGui is later. Okay, so maybe we should in general avoid getting handles there. So maybe the global policy should be to not relate on these kind of things at all, and to always go via get window, get width, and get height. I mean, it kinda... Yeah, okay, but this is now no longer a Windows window, which is not too bad, because we can just do the dynamic cast in place Windows window here. But I think in general the idea of doing it like that, ImGui, new frame, ImGui draw, I think like that, ImGui draw is a bit more appropriate. Let's see. Okay. Now again we are here. Draw data. Is draw data null pointer? Draw data is null pointer. So where did I get it from here? ImGui render. We need to first call ImGui render so that we can draw. So ImGui render, and then we should have draw data. Does it work like that? Does it really work that simple? Okay, that seems good. Now we do not really see anything happening, but at least we have no issues. To see something now, we should call the ImGui demo function so that we have some ImGui going on. So let's quickly include ImGui here. And I think we can do it with ImGui demo, show demo window. And have this as null pointer, so it shall always show, I think. And then, as you can see, now we have the ImGui in here. But I do have a bit of a problem with the DPI. It's not really applying DPI scaling. But what you can see is that, well, we have ImGui. It works. We have a window in our window, and we can take a look at all of that. So basically, this means ImGui is working. But I do want to have this scaled properly. Can I do that? Can I do ImGui scaling? ImGui set scale. Scale. Set window font scale. What happens if I put this to true? I mean, we have now a big window and a small window. How can I do? I think ImGui get IO or something. And was there a scaling? Display. Allow font global scale. Does that work? This does work. This would be the basically DPI adjusted, so I can just scale everything and then it's good. So yeah, basically what we now have is we have ImGui in there. So you can select all of that. You can see like the options that you can do in ImGui. Pop-ups, like for example, with a menu, a pop-up here, or even like modals, like here you have a modal and another modal, and they are stacked. I think you need to close one so that you can actually go to a lower level. It's actually quite a nice library. You can do a lot of things with ImGui. I think the most interesting thing is the widgets tab, because there you can see all the like widgets that you have and that you can use. And ImGui is a really, really helpful thing to allow us debugging in the engine. Yeah, but the stack scale is definitely something that we need to do. Okay, but this is, yeah, ImGui. Hello and welcome to Dear ImGui. That's nice. Okay, so I think for now, it's already quite a lot of work. I'm not sure, does ImGui come, this is something that's really important, does it come with its license? Because ImGui has a certain license and you need to make sure that these licenses are covered. So what I would recommend, if you're adding some external dependencies, like work, not ImGui, it's just easier to get it like this, is to just jump into the license and then go to edit or something. Come on. I do not want to edit it. I want to just open it. Is it so hard to open? And then just go to raw. Just copy the license over. Let's make a new file in here. Let's call this license. And then you can go in the license file and then you just paste it in so that you are really sure that if you're redistributing something like that with your repository, that you come with the license. And that's really something that's important. I do not want to give any legal advice here, but that's how I do it and how it should be more or less most of the time fine. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Quite a lot of things that we actually have done today, and we have issues. Oh, that's interesting. You can actually see that we have a bit of a problems now here, but that's something that we should solve that. Graphics comment list is not cleared. I think actually this might be an issue from last time. Is that? Did I not destroy my comment list? Release. Command allocator. Release. That should solve it, right? Let's see quickly. Yeah, no. There's still a descriptor heap going on. Did I not release my did not release my descriptor heap? Where is it? The RTV heap? This needs to be released as well, I think. Everything else should be clean. Okay, but it's not a bug that we actually had today. Okay, that was quite some work, but we ended up integrating that by basically abusing some old ass code that I have written in 2 years ago. It's not even too old, but it's quite old. Probably bigger, more than 2 years ago. No, actually even too much. Like 2 years and 3 months. 2 years and 3 months I've written some code. Thank you for that. That managed me to now get forward. Yeah, it's a bit convoluted how they do it with ImGui, that you need to follow these orders and everything. But I think we are now at a point where it's quite nicely integrated and also like separated. So yeah, that's like everything that we need. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.